Godzilla is one of the most iconic movie monsters of all time, alongside other kaiju such as King Ghidorah, Gamera, Giant Moth, and who could forget, Monkey. Today, I will be using a full team of Pokemon based on kaiju, but I'm calling it a Godzilla team because he deserves it. If you have an idea for a Pokemon team, be sure to comment below, and I will use it. And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Now let's get right into the battles. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. Today I am using a Godzilla team. This team is actually really fun. Special thank you to All Might Love for coming up with this team idea. I have two really interesting battles to showcase, as always, and I hope you enjoy them. Now, this is my lead Iron Thorns for Mecha Godzilla. I imagine you could tell what Godzilla is going to be. So, this is a special Iron Thorns. This is a crazy set. So, I'm running a Power Herb Meteor Beam on this, which I was like, this is perfect for the lead Torkoal, because obviously Torkoal is more defensive on the defensive side. And I'm like, I take it out with Meteor Beam. Oh my goodness, that was a crazy good KO because their team revolved around Sun. So I was like, that's perfect. I got a really crucial KO on that. So they're going to bring out their Heatran. I thought, well, Earth Power is more likely incoming. I'm not sure if this is choiced in any way, but I do have an Eject Pack Draco Meteor set on this Hydreigon here. Obviously for King Ghidorah, I thought it was like easily the most obvious pick. So I'm going to eject out there. This is actually also running a Taunt and Dark Pulse and like Terra Blast Poison, actually. So into Godzilla himself. So I'll talk about like why I chose Tyranitar over Godzilla instead of like Baxcalibur. But mainly it's because it contrasts well with Iron Thorns for Mecha Godzilla. Although you could argue like Duraludon also makes sense for Mecha Godzilla, but I'd rather have Tyranitar and Iron Thorns over like Baxcalibur and Duraludon. Even though you could also make a really good argument for Baxcalibur. So I'm gonna revenge KO the Heatran, and I'm gonna take it out with the Dark Pulse. Thankfully, I knocked off its Assault Vest. I found out that it wasn't actually choice, so I really had to sacrifice my T-Tar there. So in comes the low kick. So I thought, well, shoot, I really don't have a lot of switch-ins, especially if it's like Tinted Lens. Holy smokes, it does so much damage to me. But importantly, I get the Flame Body Burn. So I was like, yes, that's what I was going for with this. It's obviously Choice Banded with Tinted Lens. And I was thinking, well, they're probably not going to stay in. So I anticipate that they're going to swap into their Volcanion in the back. So this is a really terrible set. So, going for the Struggle Bug, this set is like, it's Quiver Dance. It's a Quiver Dance Volcarona, which is obviously really strong, but I wanted to nerf it. So, I have Ember on this. I have Struggle Bug and Absorb. Amazing. I have Terra Grass Absorb, which actually boosts it to 60 base power. So, you know, it's not much of a joke, but like, it's still like, why what am I doing with my life? So I'm gonna take it out there with the Steam Eruption, and that's gonna take me out clearly. So I was like, okay, well, it's a leftovers Volcanion. I was thinking that it might be running like heavy duty boots or like maybe even like choice specs. So I'm gonna bring it back out my Mecha Tyranitar here. I thought, well, I could easily go for like a Thunderbolt, but they're actually gonna swap in their Victory Bell. So I was like, shoot, I should have went for the Power Gem, but Thunderbolt would have done more damage if they decided to stay in. So yeah, I don't really want to stay in on a grass move versus this Victory Bell. Luckily, they don't have Sun, so I thought I should be able to tank any like grass moves from this thing with my Hydreigon, and if they go for a Sludge Bomb, I do have a chance to live that as well. So here I was thinking, well, I'm just gonna go for another Draco Meteor, do as much damage to the Victory Bell as I can. Actually get a really big critical hit and take out the Victory Bell. Not sure if that mattered, but I am running a max special attack, so you know, Victory Bell's not the most bulky Pokemon in the world. But if it did matter, then that's, I did live a Sludge Bomb after anyway. So, I'm going to swap in my Dreadnought. Now, this is a really interesting Dreadnought set for Gamera. I chose this over Blastoise just because, well, mainly Gigantamax Dreadnought matches Gamera more. But I really thought that Dreadnought matched, like, Gamera's, like, overall, like, monstrous aesthetic. And this is a max defense Dreadnought, too. So, it's fully physically defensive, so I was able to tank the burnt Choice Band low kick's first impression, and I just went for a body press on the Volcanion just to get some chip damage. So I'm gonna bring in my Rillaboom. Not sure if this thing is running on Earth Power or just any kind of like coverage for me, but they're gonna go for the Scorching Sands. I forgot what the move is called, and I was like, well, goodness, I didn't get burned at the very least. So I was like, okay, well, I do have this is not a Grassy Glide Rillaboom for King Dong. I'm running a Choice Scarf Rillaboom, actually. So this has Wood Hammer, it has U-Turn, Drain Punch, and Knockoff. So I thought it would be interesting to run like a more speedy Rillaboom instead of like having to rely on the priority. So they're gonna Terastallize into a Steel type. I was like, I kind of figured that was probably gonna happen, but I did just stay in and go for the Wood Hammer anyway, which still does a lot of damage. This Pokemon is really strong, but obviously they're gonna take me out with the Flamethrower. So I thought, well, the grassy terrain is actually kind of working against me because this Volcanion is getting Leftovers recovery and it's getting the grassy terrain recovery. So it's actually recovering a lot of its health. So I thought, well, you know, it's weak to Body Press now at the very least, but I do still have my Hydreigon, and I should be able to take it out with the Dark Pulse, assuming that it's not like bulk invested, which it isn't. So I was like, okay, that's good. I got rid of their Terra Pokemon, and they really don't have a lot left. So they're gonna go into the low kicks. I thought, well, maybe I'll live a banded first impression now that it's bird. I was sacrificing this Hydreigon anyway, just because I was gonna swap out my Iron Thorns, and go for the Power Gem afterward. But I actually missed my Draco Meteor. But I thought, well, I wonder if they swap out, that would be like, they would take a lot of damage from that Draco Meteor. So I don't anticipate that they'll swap out. So I actually just opted to go for the Draco Meteor and take out the low kicks. In hindsight, I definitely should have went for like Dark Pulse or like maybe even Terra Blast normal. And like, you know, Revenge KO'd it anyway, but like maybe the Cinderace would have lived my Dark Pulse afterwards. So they're gonna take me out with the Pyro Ball, so I thought, well, does this have high jump kick or not? Because I honestly thought it might have been like Choice Banded, like, you know, Choice Band Cinderace in the sun. It's obviously gonna do a lot of damage, but yeah, they do have high jump kick. Holy smokes, my Iron Thorns get taken out there. So I was like, well, this is bad, but it's not actually bad. So I get to reveal the full extent of my Gamera set here. So this is a Terra Flying Dreadnought. Now this is an Iron Defense Body Press Dreadnought, and I have Whirlpool on this for trapping and to deal like residual damage, and I have Rest with the Chesto Berry as the item, and I also have Shell Armor as the ability on this, which means that I can't be critical hit by any of these Cinderace's moves, which actually gives me a really like, you know, it gives me like comfort going for like body presses and not having to worry about being randomly critical hit. So it's a really fun set, and it's different from like the Shell Smash Strong Jaw Dreadnought. So that's going to be the end of the Cinderace and the first game. I was really happy to show off that set and all of the other sets. Hope you enjoyed that game. So on to the second battle. This battle was just nonsense. So I'm going to lead the example Hydreigon. Mew is such an unpredictable lead. I'm really afraid of them going for like a fairy move on me, like a Dazzling Gleam or something. But oh my goodness, they went for Ancient Power on my Volcarona. Holy, I just barely lived a critical hit. I was not expecting Ancient Power from this thing. What? So I'm gonna go for that Struggle Bug. Look at that damage, and the Mew is gonna end up going for Dragon Dance. I'm like, what is this? And they have Dragon Dance and they have Ancient Power. What are they cooking? So they're gonna get that attack and speed boost, but then they're gonna go for the Baton Pass. So I was like, okay, I see. They're relying on like Ancient Power, because Ancient Power gives like an Omni boost to like all of your stats. So if they get like the Omni boost, then they could pass that off to like another Pokemon that they have in the back. So, you know, that's definitely a very interesting set. And it relies on having to hit a 10% chance though, so it's not really the most effective, but I vibe with it. So the Feraligatr is gonna come in and revenge kill me, but it's gonna get a party gift because I burned it with Flame Body. That's 2 Flame Body procs in this video. Good job, Volcarona. So the Feraligatr is gonna end up getting chipped. So I thought, well, this is an easy swap into my King Kong. I could easily go for the U-turn here and pivot out into my Hydreigon and hopefully get off a big eject-packed Draco Meteor and like position myself so that I can hopefully have a better matchup into whatever they're gonna bring in. So I'm gonna bring out my Hydreigon and they're gonna go into their Archaludon. Oh my goodness. So this Archaludon, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go for the Draco Meteor and they're gonna opt to Terastallize. So I was like, okay, well, if it's Terra Fairy, that's really annoying and they got me, but it's Terra Fighting with Body Press. So I was like, okay, well, this thing doesn't have a lot of special defense. Draco Meteor is going to do a lot to this thing. But I miss! Oh my gosh! And they're going to end up going for the Body Press, and it's Terra Fighting, and yeah, that's going to easily take me out. Oh, that miss was just so annoying, because I really don't have a lot to handle this Pokemon, because obviously Stamina is like a really annoying ability it has. So they're going to go for that Terra Fighting Body Press. Man, I only tanked that because I'm max defense. but I'm gonna go for the Iron Defense. I'm not sure if this Archaludon is running, if it's running Assault Vest, but it's gonna go for the Iron Defense. I'm like, it's more than like, maybe it's leftovers, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go for the rest and recover my health at the very least. So I was like, well, shoot, I don't think I'm gonna beat this 1v1 either, because obviously I don't want to give this thing too many stamina boosts, because that's only gonna increase the base power of its body press, and you know, I'm really gonna run out of options because my Tyranitar is physical and my Rillaboom is also physical. So I'm not sure if this is like fully physically defensive or if it's like specially defensive, and it's like, you know, obviously stamina boosting with body press. So I was like, shoot, this thing is a real problem. This is also a really good candidate for like I said, Duraludon and this thing could be good candidates for Mecha Godzilla. And like, I know Baxcalibur gets obviously Glaive Rush, which is an actual move that Godzilla does use, but I ran a poll on my community tab, and more people voted for Tyranitar, mainly because, I guess it's because I mentioned that I was using Iron Thorns for Mecha Godzilla anyway. So, you know, Tyranitar, Iron Thorns, I feel like if I didn't use them for Godzilla and Mecha Godzilla, people would have definitely said something. So, I'm gonna bring in my own Mecha Godzilla versus this thing. I thought, well, I have Terra Fairy on this, so thankfully I will be able to tank the body presses. I'll be resistant to them, but I'm gonna have to go for Meteor Beam into Thunderbolt versus this thing, because obviously Meteor Beam with a special attack boost is gonna do a lot of damage even though it resists it. So I was like, it really depends on if they're more like specially defensive versus like physically defensive, but Meteor Beam does a lot of damage. I was like, okay, good, they're more physically defensive. That's kind of what I thought. So they're gonna get another stamina defense boost, and they're gonna go for that Terra Fighting Body Press. Now, I should be able to take it just solely because I'm a fairy type, which I do, thankfully. I was like, okay, that's really good. I also have Ice Beam on this set as well for coverage. It's special Iron Thorns. It's just such a fun Pokemon. So there goes the Archaludon. That thing was such a problem, but I was like, actually, that was a kaiju fight if you really think about it. So it comes to Goodra. I do have Ice Beam on this for coverage, and it does some solid damage, but Goodra is obviously a very, very specially defensive Pokemon, and they're going to end up taking me out there with the Sludge Bomb. So I was like, okay, well, this seems like the best possible opportunity for me to set up with my Tyranitar. I am down like 2-4 in this battle. I need to come back. So this is a Dragon Dance Tyranitar. I have Loaded Dice Rock Blast on this set. And I have Terra Poison because this team was like, it's weird. This team is like super, super weak to fighting and fairy. But in all of the battles that I did not fight a single Iron Valiant. I don't know how, because a lot of people use that Pokemon, but I did not fight that Pokemon, but that Pokemon would have easily, like, did so much damage to my team. It was a nightmare to deal with, which is why I had Terra Poison on this, because I could resist both Fairy and Fighting moves on this set. And I'm also running, what am I running on this? Oh my gosh. I'm running Heavy Slam on this as well for the Fairy types. So, I can't believe I forgot my own set. I had to look at my team builder, which I have on the side. So they're gonna end up having Power Whip. I'm like, of course they have Power Whip. No, I can't really afford to be taking too much chip damage because they have the Metagross in the back. Now, I figured that a Bullet Punch was coming, and I should be able to barely live it, which I do, thankfully. I was like, yes, that's perfect, because now I can get off that knockoff and easily take out the Metagross. It was actually running on a Jetpack, so that was interesting. I think it's like a Jetpack Hammer Arm. So it comes into Crozma Dogwix, is the most random Pokemon they have in the back. But obviously that thing is going to get blown away by a knockoff since it's 4 times weak. And the last Pokemon is the Mew, which is on a low amount of health, and I am like +1 speed. So I'm going to be able to take that out with the knockoff. And that's the end of both games. Godzilla sweeps in the end game. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all next time.